I'm deeply saddened to report that the music world has lost one of Ireland's most respected singer-songwriters. Glen Hansard, the legendary frontman of the Frames, Academy Award-winning musician, actor, and one of the most authentic voices of his generation, has tragically died at the age of 56 following a motorcycle crash in Dublin. The heartbreaking news has shocked fans across Ireland and around the world, with tributes pouring in from fellow musicians, actors, political leaders, and countless admirers whose lives were touched by his music. According to his management and Irish authorities, Hansard died in a single-vehicle motorcycle collision in the early hours of the morning, and the incident remains under investigation. Before we continue, if you appreciate videos that go beyond the headlines to celebrate the lives and legacies of remarkable people, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. We cover the biggest stories with verified facts, thoughtful analysis, and honest opinions, so you never miss an important update. For millions of music lovers, Glen Hansard wasn't simply another rock star. He represented authenticity in an era increasingly dominated by commercial success. He was proof that heartfelt songwriting, emotional storytelling, and genuine musicianship could still capture audiences worldwide without sacrificing artistic integrity. His journey from busking on the streets of Dublin to standing on the Oscar stage remains one of modern music's most inspiring success stories. Glen Hansard was born on April 21, 1970, in Ballymun, Dublin, Ireland. Raised in a working-class family, he developed a love for music from an early age. Unlike many internationally known artists, Hansard's path was never built through talent competitions or major label grooming. Instead, it was forged on the streets of Dublin, where he spent years performing as a busker. Those performances shaped not only his powerful voice, but also his ability to connect emotionally with complete strangers. That connection became the defining feature of his career. Anyone who ever watched Glen Hansard perform live often described the experience as deeply personal. It never felt like he was performing for an audience. It felt like he was sharing a conversation through music. In 1990, Hansard founded the Frames, a band that would become one of Ireland's most influential alternative rock groups. While they never reached the commercial heights of bands like U2, they earned enormous respect among musicians and critics alike for their passionate performances and thoughtful songwriting. Albums such as Fitzcarraldo, Dance the Devil, Burn the Maps, and The Cost established the Frames as one of Ireland's finest rock bands. Their concerts became famous for emotional intensity, extended improvisations, and a remarkable bond between Hansard and his audience. Fans often described every show as unique, because Glen rarely approached two performances exactly the same way. Although the Frames enjoyed considerable success in Ireland and Europe, Glen Hansard's life changed forever in 2007. That was the year he starred alongside Markéta Irglova in the independent Irish film Once. Made on a remarkably small budget, the movie told the story of two struggling musicians who formed an unexpected emotional connection through music. Few people expected Once to become an international phenomenon, but it did. Audiences fell in love with its simplicity, honesty, and unforgettable soundtrack. At the center of that soundtrack was Falling Slowly. The emotional ballad resonated with millions across the globe and went on to win the Academy Award for Best Original Song at the 80th Academy Awards in 2008. It remains one of the most celebrated songs ever written for an independent film and transformed Hansard from a respected Irish musician into an internationally recognized artist. Winning an Oscar would have been enough for many artists to redefine their careers. But Glen Hansard never seemed interested in celebrity. Instead, he continued making deeply personal music, touring extensively, collaborated with respected musicians, and staying true to the artistic principles that had guided him since his days as a Dublin street performer. He later released acclaimed solo albums, including Rhythm and Repose, Didn't He Ramble Between Two Shores, All That Was East Is West of Me Now, and continued recording with Markéta Irglova as part of the Swell season. His work consistently received praise for its lyrical depth, emotional honesty, and timeless quality. Hansard also appeared in several films, including The Commitments, long before international audiences knew his name. His acting career complemented his music rather than overshadowing it, and many fans discovered his remarkable voice through cinema before exploring his extensive musical catalog. Away from the spotlight, Glen Hansard was known as an intensely private individual. Recent reports confirm that he is survived by his wife, poet Merceritza, and their young son. Throughout his career, Hansard generally kept his family life away from public attention, choosing instead to let his work speak for itself. Following news of his passing, his family requested privacy as they mourned this devastating loss. According to official reports, Hansard died following a single-vehicle motorcycle collision near Lucan, West Dublin. Shortly before 4:30 a.m., emergency services responded immediately, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. Authorities have indicated that the investigation into the collision is continuing, and there has been no suggestion of foul play. The news spread rapidly across Ireland. Within hours, fellow musicians, actors, broadcasters, political leaders, and fans from around the world began sharing heartfelt tributes. Many described him as not only a brilliant songwriter, but also one of the kindest people in Irish music. Irish leaders praised his extraordinary contribution to Irish culture, while fellow artists remembered his generosity, humility, and willingness to mentor younger musicians. His annual Christmas Eve busking events in Dublin raised money for homelessness charities, showing that his compassion extended far beyond music. When people talk about Glen Hansard's greatest achievement, winning an Oscar naturally comes to mind. And yes, receiving the Academy Award for Falling Slowly remains one of the highest honors any songwriter can achieve. But personally, I think his greatest achievement goes much deeper than awards. He proved that authenticity still matters. In an industry often driven by streaming numbers, social media trends, and commercial formulas, Hansard never chased popularity. He chased honesty. He wrote songs that reflected real emotions rather than algorithms. He performed because he loved connecting with people, not because he wanted headlines. That authenticity earned him something many celebrities never achieve: lasting respect. His influence extends beyond Ireland. Many younger singer-songwriters cite Hansard as an inspiration because he demonstrated that vulnerability can be a strength rather than a weakness. His songwriting showed that simple melodies combined with truthful lyrics can often leave a greater impact than elaborate productions. Even decades after Once, Falling Slowly continues to introduce new listeners to his remarkable catalog. His legacy also lives through Frames, whose music helped shape Irish alternative rock for more than 3 decades. For aspiring musicians, Glen Hansard's career offers an important lesson. Success doesn't always happen overnight. He spent years busking on the streets before international recognition arrived. He experienced setbacks. He performed in small venues. He built his audience gradually. Then, when opportunity finally came through Once, he was prepared because he had already spent years mastering his craft. That perseverance may ultimately become one of his greatest legacies. Another remarkable aspect of Hansard's life was his commitment to helping others. His annual charity busking performances for Dublin's homeless became an Irish Christmas tradition. He understood that music could bring people together not only emotionally but practically, raising awareness and financial support for vulnerable communities. As fans revisit his music today, many will realize that his songs often carry themes of hope, resilience, heartbreak, forgiveness, and humanity. Those themes feel even more powerful now. Sometimes we don't fully appreciate artists until they're gone. Glen Hansard may not have dominated tabloids or social media every week, but he quietly built one of the most respected careers in modern Irish music. His voice will continue to echo through every performance of Falling Slowly, every replay of Once, every Frames album, and every aspiring songwriter who believes honesty matters more than hype. The music world has lost an extraordinary artist. Ireland has lost one of its finest cultural ambassadors. And millions of fans have lost a musician whose songs became the soundtrack to some of life's most emotional moments. Our thoughts are with his wife, Mare, their young son, Christy, his family, friends, bandmates, and everyone whose lives were touched by his music during this incredibly difficult time. Rest in peace, Glen Hansard. Your music, your words, and your remarkable legacy will never be forgotten.